There are three heartbreaking tragedies related to Muslim Ibn Aqil alayhi salam. The first is, as we heard, and as I mentioned before the lecture, the story of the loneliness of this great man and the betrayal of him by the people of Kufa. The second is of the story of the sons of Muslim. You might see their grave in Hilla, Awlad Muslim, the two sons of Muslim, who left the area around Karbala, were left wandering before they were caught by a man named Harma, who butchered them, severed their heads, and took their small heads to Ibn Ziyad. And then there's a third tragedy related to Muslim. When Imam Hussein receives news by the messenger that his cousin has been killed, it breaks his heart. His cousin that he grew up with, his cousin that he trusted with to deliver his message towards Kufa, it really breaks his heart. But he has a problem. What's the problem? He sees a young child in the tents, a child by the name of Hamida, the daughter of Muslim. But he says, she's so young, what do I do? How do I explain to her that she has now become an orphan? So what does he do? He takes his hand, and with his hand, he wipes her head. Hamida says, almost as if she's saying, what is the meaning of this? Why are you touching my head like an orphan? Are you saying my father won't return? It's at this moment that Ruqaya turns towards Sayyidah Zainab and she says, Auntie, what is the meaning of this word orphan? What does this word mean? Why won't Muslim come back? Will I become an orphan too? And it's here that they sit together, Ruqaya and Hamida. And Ruqaya sits with Hamida. Ruqaya sits.
Ruqaya sits
with Hamida.
With Hamida.
Ruqaya's soul.
Ruqaya's soul.
It starts to ask her.
Starts to ask her.
Ruqaya sits.
Ruqaya sits
beside Hamida.
With Hamida.
Ruqaya's soul.
Ruqaya's soul.
It starts to ask her.
Starts to ask
she
her.
says, Hamida, after I died.
Hamida, after I
how
died.
many over us cried?
How many over
Hamida,
us
after I died.
Hamida, after
how many
I
over
died.
us cried?
How many over us cried? There are two flowers of Ali, each one in Ali's love blossomed. Both were too young to understand. Their fathers were taken from them. One father found death in Kufa, betrayed though he tried to help them. One father was love upon earth, but had his head taken from
two
him.
men of God.
Two men of God.
Both betrayed by men.
Betrayed by men.
Both died in thirst.
Both died in thirst.
With no one beside them.
None beside them.
Two men of God.
Two men of
betrayed
God.
by men.
Betrayed by men.
Both died in thirst.
Both died in
no one beside them.
None beside
And their daughters wonder why.
And their daughters wonder
How many over us cried?
How many over us
Hamida first asked Ruqaya. Hamida first, she asked Ruqaya, what's the last thing you remember? The last time I saw your body, your sweet skin had lost its color. Hamida first asked Ruqaya, what's the last thing you remember? Because the last time I saw your body, your sweet skin had lost its color. I remember sleeping. And then I heard a scream, O Ruqaya. I heard you cry out to Yazid, Yazid, what have you done to my father? I heard you weep. And then silence. I have not seen you ever since.
I have not seen you ever since.
I heard you weep.
I heard you weep.
And then I heard silence.
And then silence.
And I have not seen
I have not seen
you ever since.
You ever since.
On the dust I saw you lie.
On the dust I saw you.
How many of us have cried?
How many over us cried? On the dust I saw you lie. How many over us cried? Ruqaya says to Hamida, let me first ask you a question. How did you feel when your ears heard Hussein cry, they've killed my cousin? How did you feel when your ears heard Hussein cry, they've killed my cousin? They've killed me, cousin. And he saw you standing confused. To my father, what has happened? He took his hand and wiped your head to tell you you are an orphan.
It's been too long
It's been too long
since we last spoke.
Since we last spoke.
Let me ask you.
Let me ask you
How your heart broke.
How your
Because
heart
still broken is mine.
Because still broken.
How many of us have
is
cried?
mine. How many over?
Hamida says, oh Ruqaya, I remember when I heard my father was killed, I asked, how can he be hated? Why would someone want my father's blood spilled? Whenever anyone had a need, by his hands it would be fulfilled. Oh Ruqaya, both our fathers, they were too beautiful for this world. Oh Ruqaya, both of our fathers, they were too beautiful for this world. They were both love in flesh and bone. Allah raised them and He gave them domes. They were both love in flesh and bone. Allah raised them and He gave them domes.
They were both love in flesh and bone. Allah raised them and gave them domes.
They were both love
They were both love
in flesh and bone.
in flesh and bone.
Allah raised them,
Allah raised them,
and He gave them domes.
And gave them domes. Death itself they have defied. How many over us cried? Death itself they have defied. How many over us
She
cried?
says, "Oh Hamida, I remember. I saw my father in a dream." Ruqaya says, "Oh Hamida, I remember. I saw my father in a dream. At first I thought he had returned, but things were not as they seemed because he didn't have his head attached. He didn't have his head attached, and no pure blood from his pure neck streamed. I woke up and I cried his name. I woke up and I cried his name. Ya Hussein!" I woke up and I cried his name for my father Hussein. I screamed, "Father, I can't carry on. Take me with you toward your tomb." And the tears have still not dried. How many over us have cried? The tears have still not dried. How many over us have cried?
Oh Hamida, I remember I saw my father in a dream. At first I thought he had returned, but things were not as they had seemed, because he had his head attached, and no blood from his pure neck streamed. I woke up and cried out his name for my father, for my father, for my father Hussein. I screamed, "Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein." I screamed, "Father, I can't carry on. Take me with you toward your tomb." And the tears have still not dried. How many over us cried? And the tears have still not dried. How many over us cried? Hussein, Ya Hussein.